What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of FlagPlus Football's First and Goal podcast. I'm your host, Brent Bodkin.
And I'm Quaysie Maule.
All right, so it is now week 8 for most divisions right here. Week 9, actually, to be honest with you, in most divisions here in FPF. We're in the home stretch of the regular season. There's about 3 weeks left before the playoffs begin. Obviously, that's the most exciting time here in FlagPlus Football. A lot of topics to get to on today's show. We do have a special guest coming on in about 45 minutes, give or take, to an hour later. So she'll be coming on. A person who's has a lot of broadcast experience, a person who plays right now in FPF. Don't want to ruin the surprise now, but make sure to stay tuned for that. She's excited to be here. I know we don't have to get to this right away. We had a Instagram story that was pretty popular that went up yesterday. Ali Reza and I kind of designed it, and we're gonna get to that a little later. There's a couple of snubs we're gonna get to as well. Some of those are my fault. I apologize. But yeah, man, crazy. I don't know. Is there anything you wanna jump into right away?
Well, not really jump into, but I kind of want to talk about, like, don't you find that the season went by pretty fast? Like the fact that we're week 9 and we're almost in playoffs already. I feel like it's going by way faster than it is winter. I feel like winter, it takes so much time, and like oh, it's only week 5 or it's only week 6, and I feel like it's taking so forever. But like playoffs are just around the corner.
I hear you. So I was scorekeeping when I saw you on Tuesday in Bassard, right? So after we were done, me and some of the referees, even some of the players that were finishing late, right? We're hanging out in the parking lot, just, shooting the breeze as we always do.
Mm-hmm.
And like, one of the Maule Khan, actually, he said it himself. He's like, I can't believe it. He goes, the summer in general, right, is going by fast. Today's what, July 16th. So July is officially halfway done now, right? And the summer is going by quick. And like you said, the FPF season is going by really fast. Like, again, like I said, we're already week 9, right? We have 3 more weeks to the playoffs. And then the finals are already like August 22nd, 23rd. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, it's going fast. Do you want to talk about some of the games you score kept, then? And I'll go off with you, because I think you did some women's 3 yesterday.
Yes. You did women's 3 yesterday?
No, you did. Sorry, women's C. Or B. You did women's B.
Yeah, I can tell you. Hold on. So I did a few games actually on Tuesday in Bassard. Last week we were off, so this week we were back. So okay. So let me, in terms of, so I did a women's game. I did a women's B game,
mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was kind of ugly. It was Hebrew taking on the Cavaliers. That game was over pretty much, I want to say 50 minutes in. 36-0 for Hebrew at halftime. They went on to win 62-0. So really not the display that the Cavaliers wanted. I will give a shout out though to the Hebrew, man. I mean, listen, that team is serious. Obviously they have coaching in that. The Cavaliers do too, but none of the coaches were there, I don't think, on Tuesday, and it showed. Stella Chevier. So I talked to the head coach. I forget his name. My apologies, for the Hebrew squad. Gentleman, I talked to him a couple of times. He's a good dude, and he was just telling me, yeah, the team's ready to play and all that. We want to come out here, obviously get the W and make an impact. And I will say, they did that and then some. It seemed like every person on the Hebrew squad made a play. Stella Crevier was a quarterback. He told me, I believe he said it's like her first or second game with the team. I'm going to check that in a second to see if he was lying or not, because the way it looked, it didn't seem like her first or second game. She went like 17 to 23, 203 yards and 5 touchdowns. Like, she tore it up. She was throwing darts all over the place. 2 biggest receivers was Beatrice Dubois, who had 144 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then there was Anka Ku, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. 5 catches, 70 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But she also she caught 3 TDs. She threw for 2 more TDs. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she also ran for a touchdown, and she had an interception in the game. So, I mean, the only touchdown she didn't get was a pick 6. And I'm not going to lie, she came kind of close to getting that as well, right? So I'm going to give you a little teaser. She should be on our player spotlight when it comes up, either for this week or for next week. She was fantastic. The team, like Eleanor Lacasse, she was open deep a lot of times. Laurence Gagnon. So Laurence Gagnon, I've seen her play before, but she had a great game. She had 4 catches, 27 yards, and a touchdown, which is great. But she had 3 sacks. She was all over the place on defense. The Cavaliers had no answer at all for Hebrew, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seems like they're the team to kind of take it all. being their 5-1. They did have that one loss versus the Originals. I believe they lost like 27 to 7, which is kind of like concern. It's like concerning, but it's also like weird, because you're 5-1, you're pretty much dominating teams by double digits, triple digits, you're winning games by 20, 30, and then you drop a game against the Originals that are 4-4, which is also a veteran team, right? They've been around for a while. It's a lot of girls that's been playing the league for a while. So sometimes it does go by experience, or sometimes just a bit of more athletic. It could be on one side where you could take advantage, and we do see that a lot. But like they won 27 to no, sorry, they won. Sorry, the Originals beat Hibu, or no, maybe it wasn't the Originals. Sorry, it wasn't the Originals. Hibu lost versus Wolfpack. Sorry, but same thing. Wolfpack again. it's a veteran team, so
yeah,
it's a veteran team as well, right? So it's kind of like it's a bit concerning because you would think the fact at Hibu is kind of like just destroying other teams, and then they play a team like the Wolfpack, and they end up losing by 19. I believe they do meet again. So it's weird. So Hibu beat them by the first matchup that they had was back in week 2, where Hibu won by 19, and then they go back to week 4 and they lose by 19. So they basically shift 19-point swings with each other. So again, like I think, to be honest with you, maybe these are probably the top 2 teams we're going to see maybe in a final appearance, unless the Originals are kind of a team that makes a good stop. I feel like if the Originals and Wolfpack, if they kind of stays in this seeding where we have a semifinal where Hibu versus Supernova and then Originals versus Wolfpack, I think the Originals and Wolfpack could go either or. Again, we kind of had a conversation with these teams are kind of familiar with each other, how they had some girls going one team and some girls other team. So I think that's going to be interesting. And they actually both share the same record of being 4-4. So it's going to be interesting to see. I also want to talk about the Cavaliers, how much they're struggling. Yeah. The fact that they lost 62-0, like, okay, fine, you let 62 points score on you, fine, but you got to score some points. Like I was watching it with you for a bit, maybe like 2-3 minutes, and I like the way how Hibu was kind of like using all your tools in 5v5. Like the direct snap to the side, to the reverse. Exactly. Like you just get a whole bunch of eyes moving. Where I feel like a lot of teams need to start doing that. Like have fun out there. 5v5 is kind of like, I want to say it's like kind of like schoolyard bullshit to a point where you could do so much more compared to actually how the original flag football, like 6-on-6 that we're used to seeing, So I feel like teams should have like a deeper playbook and just like try to get more familiar of being able to do crazier things that actually work, because you do see it when you play more competitive, right? And you have the Braves and you have the Party Crashers and you have like that, and their playbook is insane. And also we kind of saw in a video where we had the Birds where they had a direct snap from the quarterback. So the quarterback went under the snapper. I believe she snapped it and she put it behind the snapper's back. And then she took it off and she started running, but she had the ball behind her back. But just like stuff like that, where you get like 6-7 yards, 8 yards, and you just have to. I feel like you have to open your mind and just kind of use more of the playbook.
No, and that's exactly it. So obviously, like you said, I saw the game with you. I was there. The referees were like Vinny Galano and Dylan Taylor, who have been in the league almost since the beginning of FPF, right? And these guys, their jaws are dropping off of some of the plays we saw. Like you talked about the one you saw. I saw one where the center would snap it to the receiver, so the aforementioned Anka Kuhu, who would then toss it back to the center, and then the center would be able to do a lateral back to the receiver to her right, the receiver to her left would run it, or they would put it back to the quarterback who would throw, or sometimes the center would drop back and throw. Like we've seen the IG team do a lot of these creative plays, obviously, in a lot of the 5v5 divisions that they play. But this is the first time I've seen some women's teams get creative. But what I saw on Tuesday in Brassard, it blew my mind. man. I came away thoroughly impressed, not just with the execution, but with the designs and the play calls, right? The Cavaliers, again, they're a deep squad, the Cavs, and a lot of those ladies have some real talent. Like they're not scrubs, despite what the score tells you, but they just didn't know what to do. Like they seemed lost out there, and who was just they were just having fun running circles, almost literally around the Cavs. It was just I've never seen such creativity. I was really impressed by what I saw from Hebrew on Tuesday.
Yeah, and it looked nice. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, okay, they know what they're doing, and they're also they're exploring and trying to get better and taking advantage of how 5v5 the system works. Before we get into a different division, I just want to kind of talk about the merge a bit, since they made that kind of drop to Division 2, the Women's 2, and how they made the merge. Do you think it's kind of concerning right now, right? So they're 3-4 going into week 9, kind of what we're saying, where they're going to be playing Supernova. But the three wins they have won is against, they beat Cavaliers 8-7, they beat Cavaliers 12-8, and then they beat the Originals 24-6. So 2 out of the 3 of their wins are bottomless teams where the Cavs are struggling, and then the Originals are a 4-4 team. Do you think, are you surprised that their record right now is 3-4? Do you think they should be better? Do you think they should be worse? What's your intake on the merge right now?
I mean, with this merge team again, like we said, right? I mean, first off, it should be a different name, but it is what it is. They haven't and they're rocking it. I'm a little surprised just in terms of some of the talent that they have on this team, right? This is a lot of those players from Block Party, and other teams. I'm blanking on the name of the other team that they usually have, but I mean,
the Sparks,
anyway. Yeah,
exactly.
Shiny, Tiffany, Cipollone, Zitha Bini, they've all been around the block together, with this group of girls, Tabitha Thomas, right? I know Hillary Hilaire, I've seen her play Chic and Ball. Obviously, Yerline Korostonka Ball, Samora Fantasako. So to answer your question, and obviously Yvonne, right, is there helping them out, and Brianna, right, is on the team as well. I'm surprised that they are barely, I mean, under 500, I should say. I'm a little surprised that they have the talent to be better. I mean, again, they have 3 games left in the season, so they could finish with a winning record. But I am surprised though, with how they're struggling so far.
Me. What kind of concerned me is when they play versus a team like the Cavs, I think they should be winning those games by 20, not by 2 or 4. I know it was earlier on in the season, but I feel like they're just too talented enough to be having close games with a team like Cavaliers. And no disrespect to Cavaliers, but they're struggling this year, right? I feel like they have their issue with their quarterback situation. If you don't have a quarterback, it's the biggest problem, where you can't score points, your defense is on the field too long. Yeah. It becomes a nightmare at the end of the day. But I feel like the merge, with the fact, I understand they do have a lot of girls that are coming together and they're kind of getting used to playing. But when you play versus a struggling Cavaliers team, you should be winning this game by 20. Shout out to them for being the Originals. Again, it's a big win. It's a team that's 4-4. That's number 2 in the seedings. But I feel like they need to be better. They have 3 games left going down the final stretch, where they play Supernova, which should be a good game, La Sortie, and the Sortie again. So Sortie is 2-3, Supernova is 3-2, and so they play 2. I feel like they could end the season. Again, we were saying with a positive record, I don't see why not. They don't end the season 6-4. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they go 5-5. But I'm very curious how they're gonna perform in playoffs. I think that's one of the biggest aspects. I think who they're gonna play against. As long as they don't maybe reach a Hebrew, a first round, I think they should be fine. But I'm very curious to see how they're gonna perform in playoffs when it comes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if they want to have any type of trip to the playoffs, instead of being one and done, they're gonna have to score more than a touchdown, right? And like you said, they got swept by the Wolfpack back to back, 21-7 and 19-0. They're better than that. Mm-hmm. The merger better than that. And they know they're better than that, right? It's not something I need to tell them. They know that already. But to make sure they have a long playoff stay, right? They're gonna have to score more than 1 touchdown a game. That's been the biggest thing holding them back, because you look at their defeats, right? Besides that week 1 loss to the Hebrew, where they gave up 38 points. Again, you lost to the best team in the division. There's no shame in that. Look at their defense. They gave up 8. 14 to Supernova, and they lost 14-13. So that's going to be a big rematch this coming Saturday, right between those two, Supernova and the Merge. But then again, so they gave up 14. Then they gave up 7 to the Cavs. They gave up 24 to the Merge, which is not so bad. And like I said, 21 and 19 to the Wolfpack. So if you're the Merge, their defense comes to play, and I've seen these ladies play. They're fast, they're aggressive, they're hungry for the ball, but you got to score points, like you said. And so we're gonna have to wait and see what happens, especially this Saturday. So before we go, so I just want to go back to the Cavaliers for 1 second, because I know at the end of the game, I don't think you were there at that point, but the quarterback for the Cavs, Adriana Valente, or I think that's how you should spell it, Valente or Valiente, depending on how she pronounces it. I don't know if she tore her Achilles, but she went down in a heap really quick. She was dropping back and she went down. I don't think she was touched at all. And as I actually went to get her a bit of ice there for her calf, and she was sitting on the sideline for a while after the game with the ice. I saw her get helped off the field. I pray it's not a torn Achilles, but the injury did not look good. So again, it's salt in the wound, right? You lose 62-0, and then you lose potentially your starting quarterback for the rest of the way.
On the last play too, right?
Despite the sorry?
On the last play too, right?
Yeah, exact last play of the game, which, you know what I mean? That sucks. I will say, though, despite the score, the Cavaliers actually have some talented players, like Charlotte Susie. She has some speed. She was always around the ball. I came away impressed with her, Eloise Vio. So I want to give a shout out too. So I was talking to this player during the game, Julia Dos Santos. I want to give a shout out to her. At one point, she was running from sideline to sideline to try and make a tackle, I think, and no, it wasn't off interception. It was just a regular pass. She was trying to make a tackle. She was the corner on her left. She was going to the opposite side of the field on the right to make a tackle. I think she missed a tackle, but it doesn't matter. I saw her hopping on one leg to get off the field. So I was like, oh, she must have popped a hamstring or something. So she goes to the bench. The defense came off the field because I think they gave up a touchdown because she only plays on defense. The offense came on, did their thing. Next defensive series, she comes back on. I'm like, are you okay? Do you need ice? She's nah. I go, is your hamstring fine? She goes, it's not my hamstring. She's like, it's my toe. I'm like, oh, she goes, yeah, I ripped the toenail off. And I was like, what? So what? Excuse me? She's like, yeah, I ripped the toenail off. And I was like, today? Like now? Like during the game? She's like, no, it happened a couple of weeks ago. It started to come off a bit, and she's like basically saying like she either it came off or she had to rip it off, and it's like, I think this might be the toughest girl I know.
I had to do that once. Yeah, and it's not fun. Like it depends like how deep, like how much you have to rip off. Like mine wasn't that bad, but I've seen people that have to rip off like their whole entire nail, and I'm just like, I think that's what she was saying. Yeah,
I think that's what she was saying. She had to rip off the whole thing. And I was just like, I've had to rip off half of mine during a game once, and that was painful. But like the whole thing, and you're back playing, like, and she's playing corner, right? It's not as if she's playing receiver, and you could mess around with your footwork a bit. You get to the top of that drop, and you can throw off your back foot and that, and
you're moving, yeah.
Yeah, and you're cutting, right? She's tough. I got to give her credit. She's tough. But I like this Cavs squad. Like, they know they're getting their butts kicked. It is what it is. There was no quit, though. Some teams would have gave up. Some girls or some guys would have said, I'm not playing the rest of the game. I'm done, whatever. They didn't give up. And even after the game, they were hyping each other up and like, okay, we got our asses whooped, but let's get back at it. Let's not quit. And I was happy to see that with this Cavaliers team. So shout out to the Cavs. And again, Juliana Dos Santos, who I think it could be the toughest girl in FPF. I don't know how much of that nail grew back, but she's still playing. So shout out to her.
Yeah, again, also kind of last thing to do before we go into the division, like for them, it's practice, right? They're kind of getting ready for their regular season. It's going to be coming up, I believe, in August, September. So, I mean, they're just trying to get as much practice as possible. And sometimes, I mean, like you get blown out. It is what it is. You know, you kind of go back to the drawing board and you try to improve for the next week. So I think that's what their game plans are going to be until the season's over, until the first round of playoffs, and so far on.
Cool. Stick with the 5v5 format here. So I did the Only Flags game, so 5v5 intermediate against JYD, the Junkyard Dogs. It's a pretty interesting game. So Jason Rossi, obviously FPF vet, he throws for Junkyard Dogs. That's his team. So he has like Sanders, Chris Brockwell, another Junkyard Dog original, Justin White from Idaho Utah Pimps. But they had two other cats who I've never seen before. One was Angelo Namaja.
Okay.
Long receiver, more of a DB, but play receiver. You know him?
No. I'm just saying. Okay. Like, okay. No, I don't know him.
Yeah. Then there's this guy, he's long, he has speed, and they had a rusher as well, who I ended up talking to on the sideline. He didn't have any stats, so I'm just gonna grab his name here quickly. It is Kevin Pierre. So, sorry, no, Fabrice Pierre. Okay, his brother Kevin was there, but he didn't play. He was hurt. He came, but he didn't play. It was Fabrice Pierre. So I was talking to this guy. I go, hey, how long have you been in FPF? He goes, this is still kind of newish to me. And I was like, okay, he's having a good time though. And he actually, so we started talking soccer at one point because he's like, I have a soccer background. He's like, I played for the U16 international team. He's like, we lost the gold medal. And I was like, how far did you go in soccer? He's like, yeah, I went pretty far, like just a couple steps below pro. And I was like, all right, I mean, that's super cool to see. So Fabrice Pierre has been in FPF since 2023. But again, a guy with a soccer background, he told me never played tackle football. And this guy has speed. Hence why he's a rusher. He's able to cut. And I think he's one of those guys, the more he plays, the better he'll get. The more understanding of football that he'll get, I think the better he'll be. And he can maybe be a receiver or something and do some damage on the other side of the ball. But it's 22-14 win for Junkyard Dogs. Only flags. So I like the quarterback, Médéric Morin. I know I hadn't talked about him either earlier this season or at the end of last season. I can't remember. Dual threat guy as well, just like Jason Rossi. He can move, he could throw. Hubert Noel, so God, we talked about finals weekend, right? He had a big game, 5 catches, 110 yards, 2 TDs. He really came out and impressed, but then a lot of the throws started going his way. So then Sanders covered him or Justin rolled over to him. So then they needed other guys to make plays. So there's Elliot Fashon, who I've seen him play. He could ball. Nicolas Fashon-Roy. They couldn't get enough going. And then they made the odd choice. Now, this makes no sense to me. They made the choice. So they had this guy. He was a sub, I think, Olivier Piloto, who plays receiver. He's a bigger guy, more of like a tight end body. But they put him at quarterback, and both times he threw passes, they got picked off. And it was like the game is 22-14 final, right? So the game is really close. Just you put in a guy who's not really a quarterback at quarterback, and he throws 2 INTs, and that's a big reason why Only Flags lost the game.
Yeah, I mean, they're also, I believe they're young kids. I know a lot of them play for Quaysie. They won Division 6B last winter, the winter just passed, and they kind of made the transition to go into 5v5. They kind of know that 5v5 is becoming the new thing, so the 66, like, competitive wise, so they're still young and they feel like if they want to kind of do all these tournaments, which they're actually going to a tournament this weekend in Sherbrooke, a lot of them. So I guess they kind of also, it's just experience. And a lot of times when you go to tournaments out other places, you're playing 5v5, right? So you might as well get used to the format and stuff like that. So I was actually talking to Maxim, on the team. He was kind of telling me that they kind of wanted to make the change just because they know that 5v5 it is getting it's gonna get bigger here and there, and the guys want to try 5v5, right? What they were kind of surprised about, and that the amount of good teams that are playing 5v5 intermediate right now. Like you would think that a couple seasons ago, intermediate 5v5, like I don't want to say it was horrible, but you had 1 or 2 good solid teams, and the rest of the teams were just like kind of trying it out. I want to say maybe the tops. I want to say like to be honest with you, Team YS is 0-6-1, but they do have a good amount of guys on the team. But every team is a good team, Like if you have a bad day, you're gonna lose. If your quarterback decides to throw 3 INTs, your defense is not kind of locked in, you're gonna lose that game. So it's a big jump for them to play Division 6 to come play intermediate, because you kind of think, okay, well, Division 6 intermediate, like how big of a gap is it going to be? It's a big gap, Division 6 to intermediate, it's a big gap, So like talent-wise, there's so much for players. You don't get an advantage where, Hubert Noel did go off for 5 for 6 for 110 yards, like that. But like in Division 6 game, like he probably could have had way more than that in most cases, and then you also, when it comes to a point where you shift a player onto this player, you're like, okay, well, someone else could go off, but it doesn't work like that for 5s as much as it would work for 6s. So I find it, like, again, they're 2-6. 2 teams don't make playoffs, so they kind of have to make sure that Poseidon's Kiss keeps struggling, because that's a team, again, that's a team that I thought would be a bit better. They're 1-4-1, but they're also getting used to as well. We kind of see Poseidon's Kiss, usually a Division B team, but they made the transition to go into intermediate to kind of try it out with Rocco. I'm assuming he wants to kind of try out some 5-5 football. So, I mean, right now they're fine. They're 2-6. They have 2 games coming up against they play versus Flag Vengers, which is going to be a really hard game, and then Poseidon's Kiss. So Flag Vengers, I want to say they're probably lose that game, but against Poseidon's Kiss, it's going to be a big game regarding for playoffs, because that could be like kind of a playoff game to see who's going to get into that 6th seed, unless Void kind of drops the last 5. But I think they're going to win a couple more games before the season ends.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, yeah. I mean, and speaking to a lot of your points, right? I mean, again, you read about the 5v5 intermediate, right? But like you said, it's a lot stronger now, and it's why I think you're right also about right the game, especially the 5v5 format of it growing, right? So at least more people wanting to try it out, wanting to get involved, and right now, like you talked about, right? It's a matter of getting teams in there, and like you said, getting kids like we just talked about, with only flags in there and interested. And that's happening every year. And every year we see an FPF, the 5v5 division grows, 6v6 sometimes in some cases. Obviously, when you add a whole new division, it gets bigger. But 6v6, a lot of teams are, not a lot, but some teams are transferring out of there and moving to 5v5, like you talked about. Yeah, in terms of the standings, I mean, yeah, it's. I think it's going to come down to the wire, especially in the intermediate, right? Because I mean, you look at the landscape right now in the intermediate. You had the Mighty Schmuck 6-2, Junkyard Dogs 5-2, but then you have Flag Avengers, right, 4-0, and you have a bunch of other teams who are like, well, besides Coconut Gang, they're 4-3. Other teams under 500. Actually, no, my bad. Actually, Void is 3-2, but it's still like nothing's really set in stone. I would say in that division. Yes, Mighty Schmuck's leading with a 6-2 record, but Junkyard Dogs have a game in hand. Flag Avengers have 4 games in hand, and Coconut Gang have a game in hand, right? So that the intermediate division is definitely still up in the air in terms of who's going to win it. And you go over even to the competitive division, right? You look at the standings right now in competitive. You have the Braves 5-1, they have 10 points. Infantry 5-3, they have 10 points. Braves have 2 games in hand, so they're probably going to lock up first. But then Flat Maule, the Sack 3-3, Party Crashers 3-4, Rog Dogs 1-6, right?
Yeah.
Besides maybe the Raw Dogs.
Yeah, it's open. The divisions are open for both of these categories. As kind of going division's open. Like I can't really say, okay, well, I think this team's gonna win. Even kind of was saying the rosters, like the amount of talent on every single roster. If we're talking about intermediate, if we're talking about competitive, both sides rosters are stacked. You kind of look at a team, you're like, oh, what's this team here? You're looking at it, you're like, oh, all these guys are playing versus each other. You check an air team. Oh, all these guys are playing with each other. You check this team. And you're like, it's stacked rosters. Again, you have like Raw Dogs. Again, they have Rory. Rory's out there playing too. You know, so like it's just like you have a lot of talented players playing intermediate as well too. So it's not like how it was before, where you have a couple, I would say maybe max 5-10. Now you're in the 25 to 30, where you just have all these good athletes playing in this division, where they're game changers. You know, they could literally, some of them could win some of these games. And it's a fact where we can't like say, okay, this team's going to win it all. Don't get me wrong, Flag Legends are 4-0. They still have 6 games to go, but it's not like they have easy games. They're going to have to literally show up and play every single week. And when it comes to playoffs, it's going to be the same situation, where you're going to have to show up and play every single week. Or when it comes to playoffs, you're going to have to show up and play. You don't get the leverage of saying, okay, well, we're the 2nd seed. We're playing we're the 2nd seed. We're going to play the 6th seed. Is to say, oh, it's going to be a walk in the park. No, it's not going to be a walk in the park, because you're going to be playing athletes. You know, we're talking about only flags. Like that's a athletic group of guys. You know, it's to a point where they maybe are going to get some jump balls on you. Maybe they'll get some picks here. Maybe like you're going to have to come and play. And so I'm actually kind of happy that intermediates like that, because last couple seasons, it's like you had 1 or 2 top teams where we're kind of like, oh, it's going to be Flag Vengers and this team in the finals. Now it's like, well, we don't know who's going to be in the finals.
No, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And you're right. Like in terms of, and this is what I like about FPF, right? Like we start off right. Okay, so 5v5 competitors, like you said, that had the best players. Intermediate was looked at like kind of like the redheaded stepchild, for lack of better words. Same thing, right? Division one, Division A, Division B, Division two, right? People are like, oh, those are the best players only there, and the rest of the division, nah, not so much. Now that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in other leagues, that's the case. FPF, that is not the case, right? You can go Division C, Division D1, D2, Division E, even Division F, right? The newest divisions. Co-ed 4, right? One of the newer divisions. There's talented players in every single division here in FPF. That's what makes FPF so unique. You'll find talent no matter where you go. It could be the lowest division or the highest division, or somewhere right in the middle, right? And that's what makes it so diverse, and the talent spread out throughout the entire league. And I always tell the story, right? I found some of the best players in FPF starting off in the lower divisions, and that talent kind of, it cycles through from the bottom to the top, and sometimes from the top to somewhere in the middle. It comes down a little bit, even sometimes a little lower. Like I've seen Michael Kazako, who's a really good player, playing a lower division. I've seen tons of
Mm-hmm.
other guys playing low divisions, and that's what you see here in FPF. That's why we have the best competition.
Yeah. Switching over to competitive, since we kind of talking about 5v5
Yeah.
competitive, just kind of like it's just brief, right? There's only 5 teams, so there's not much to really talk about. Something that's kind of like to bring up just really fast, where the top 3 teams get by, right? So you look at it right now, you have the Braves at 5-1, you have Infantry at 5-3, you have Flagma at 3-3, and you have Party Crashers at 3-4. Raw Dog should finish last. So they will. What's going to happen is it's the 4th seed versus the 5th seed. If for some reason, if Party Crashers kind of stay in that float where they kind of finish in that 4th seed, Raw Dogs finish that 5 seed, then the top 3 other teams, Braves, Infantry, and Flagma, will get that bye. Party Crashers play Raw Dogs. I believe Party Crashers should win that game. We could get a matchup where we have a 1 seed versus a 4 seed, which is gonna be Braves versus Party Crashers. And usually that, I don't want to, like, again, I play for Infantry, and no disrespect for Flagma, but that could be a final matchup where we're gonna see in the semifinals. So it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see where, like, that 4th seed could be a scary seed if you're a number 1 seed, right? Because, like, Party Crashers they're a legit team. They're just coming off winning a national title. Their roster is a bit different, but they have their key guys. You have Jean at quarterback as well too, so he should be able to help them in any situation. But it's gonna be interesting to see if we see a Braves versus Party Crashers in a semifinal matchup. You will usually, again, we got to see them last season when they played the finals, where Braves completely destroyed them. And then if you're able to witness it, we got to see a national matchup where Braves played Party Crashers. So it's gonna be interesting to not seeing them in a final matchup, but in a semifinal matchup.
Yeah, sure. And don't forget, they also had them in the 6v6 format, right, for Division 1, where the Braves somehow managed to escape with the victory for the championship in the winter.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah. So you know what? And you started off before saying that, right? You said no offense to Flagma on that, right? Hey, listen, if Flagma takes offense to that, they have a chance. They have the Braves this Sunday, right? Flagma against the Braves this Sunday in Laval, 7 p.m. You have the Infantry against Party Crashers at 9 p.m. in Laval. So listen, if people don't want to see a Braves and Party Crashers matchup for the finals, well, the Infantry has a chance to do something about it, as does Flagma this coming Sunday.
Mm-hmm. What division you want to go into next?
I wanted to just do co-ed 4. I had a chance to score keep Too Fast Mon Ami against Catch My Balls. It's another game that I did on Tuesday. It was a one-sided affair. Too Fast Mon Ami for 45-14 victory over Catch My Balls. There's a couple of things that stood out. So Too Fast Mon Ami, I think I had seen them play in Maryvick a few weeks ago. I wasn't scorekeeping the game, but I had just seen them because they were on a field near me. And I said, okay, these guys are pretty fast. I didn't really get a good look at them, but I came away kind of impressed on Tuesday night. The quarterback, Leo Auger. So I'm looking at my stats. So he went 5 of 13, 38 yards, which is nothing to write at home about. But out of the 5 completions that he had, 3 of them went for touchdowns. He did also throw 2 INTs, but again, still not a bad record. He ran four times, 63 yards and 1 touchdown. I came away impressed. I know in our group chat, with the 3 of us are involved in, as well as some other members in many of the group chats we have, and some other members of the FPF community and part of our social media team. So I mentioned Damien Valk, Valcke. I hope it's pronounced Valk or Valky. Anyways, either or. Pretty solid game. 2 INTs. He ran both of them back to the house. I was like, this guy, I came away really impressed with him. That team just really they balled. There was this girl Maxime Sans Chagrin. She was aggressive. She second on the team in tackles with 3, but she had a pick 6 as well. And I just saw her like again, she made a play on the ball, but even when the ball wasn't around her, she was getting physical over the receiver in front of her. Nothing, no penalties, just getting physical, like making them really have to fight through the routes and that. So I always like to see that playing clean but aggressive football. On the other side, so shout out on quarterback Gabriela Braga. I'm trying to get her on the pod. She says she's really camera shy, but I go, listen, you come on, it's a convo. A lot of people say that. A lot of people say I'm too shy to do it. Guys and girls, come on, I'm gonna have a convo about ball, convo about some non-ball things. Ease you in there. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, she struggled. 12 of 32, 110 yards, 2 touchdown passes, 5 INTs. Not all of them were her fault though. Her receivers did drop quite a few passes, but they made some big plays as well. There's Paul Kazir, Siu Wang. She has some speed on her team. It's just some of them were missed throws and a lot of them were drop passes. It was a 33-7 game at half in favor of Too Fast Mon Ami. Second half score was 12-7 in favor of Too Fast Mon Ami. So the team really stepped it up in the second half, but again, too little too late. When you turn the ball over 5 times, that's not going to be a recipe for success. So I want to look at the standings here quickly in co-ed 4, right? So Too Fast Monami jumps up to 4-2, so now they are in second place with Catch My Balls actually. So that loss drops Catch My Balls to 4-4. So Too Fast Monami has a tiebreaker. Vodka Red Bull in fifth, Sax Appeal in sixth, and Le Moines, who I've seen a while back, is kept them 0-6 right now. Flamingos 6-1. So I saw the Flamingos play. Flamingos were involved. That was going on at the same time as the game I was just talking about. Flamingos played Vicious and Delicious. So Vicious and Delicious, right? One of the top teams in this division as well, right? They're second place. Flamingos are in first. And this is like a back and forth affair as well. Like it was a lot of plays on both sides of the ball. Quarterbacks. So Gabriel Lapro, he had 3 touchdown passes, but 3 INTs for Flamingos. And the big man Dylan Boudreau, 3 touchdown passes, but 4 INTs for Vicious and Delicious. But as you see here, like Flamingos 31-19 win. Like they came away and they did their thing. I was impressed by how they were able to pull it out. They used a lot of speed. There's a brother, Servi Kuzma, who caught my attention. He seemed like, so he only had 2 catches for 60 yards and 1 touchdown, but he also had 2 picks. One of them he ran back to the house. It seems every time I looked over at that game, he was around the ball making a play, and it was really a big reason why his team won. I got to see Susanna Loaiza again, 1 catch, 29 yards and a touchdown. I talked about her, I think week 1 or week 2. I think she's the smallest player in the league, like bar none. Fast, like you blink and she's gone. So shout out to her. On the side, Anthony Robichaud, I know he plays quarterback with Vieux plays receiver here. He's too high to throw in this division. He made a couple big plays at receiver. He had 2 INTs on defense, but again, the turnovers one too many for Vicious and Delicious to get the win. Yeah. So now Flamingo's in first place in the division.
Yeah, when you throw 4 INTs, it's so hard to get a win. If I see quarterback throw 4 INTs and they win, I mean, the other quarterback had to throw at least 4 or 3 too, you know? So the fact that it's a big win from Eagles, you know, it kind of shows that they're the dominant team in this league. We're not being 6-1, only having 1 loss. They should be able to clutch up a first round bye. We're gonna see it's a bit early to come on because you still have Too Fast YME at 4-2, and then Licious at 5-2, and only the 1 seed and 2 seed get the first round bye. So it's a bit early on. You never know with these other 2 teams just under them, but they do have the tiebreak now. Flamingos have the tiebreak versus Delicious, unless they end up playing versus each other again, and they do the last. They play each other week 11, so that's also something to kind of look at. That's something to look at later in the schedule when we hit week 11, week 12, where kind of things are kind of kind of showing what's when the standings are kind of showing a bit more, and we kind of see who's up and who's down. But shout out to the Flamingos, right now being 6-1. I mean, they must be pretty good. They must feel pretty good. The fact that they're kind of dominating in this division, and again, it's some of these teams had been playing before. I'm pretty sure we saw Sac Appeal the last couple seasons. Catch My Balls also was there. Village and Delicious was also there. So they're kind of. It's not like they're coming into a division where a lot of his teams are not good. They've been playing for a while, so the fact that you kind of come in and you dominate off the bat is it's good. It's good. I'm sure they're happy about it.
Yep. Yeah, the last game I worked was Division E2. So we talked about this last week, right? When we had an Anthony Sigia from FPF's Most Wanted in Division B, but he also plays for Special Agents in Division E2. And they had a big game taking on Super Bach this past Tuesday. Well, I say that's a big game, right? Because you look at the standings, right? In this division, you have 8 teams that make the playoffs and Special Agents coming into the game, right? They were 1-5. But they were at the time at least only 2 points behind Superbach. Superbach was an 8th, right? But they had a 2-4 record. So one team had 2 points, one team had 4. So we talked about last week, right? A big game with playoff implications between those two teams. And I'll tell you what, I scored. It's the first game of the night that I scored kept on Tuesday night at Bristard. And so obviously Rob White, shout out to Rob, FPF veteran. He's been part of the league for a very long time. Going up against Kyle Martell. I like Kyle Martell. He's a good guy, fast as heck, dual threat quarterback, better with his feet than with his arms, at least right now. But always excited to see him at quarterback. And I'll tell you what, man, like it was a close game. I will be honest, Super Agents turned over the ball way too many times. Rob Way only had one INT, but I will dive a little deeper. I'm not going to be lazy here. On 4th down, the Super Agents went 0 for 3. Right, where their opponents went 2 for 3. So you had the one INT plus you had the 3 turnovers on down. That means you turn over the ball 4 times. Despite that, this was still a really close game in the second half, right? Because you look at the second, it's 14-6 at the half for Super Bach. Again, Super Agents, Special Agents, pardon me, they had a chance in the red zone. There was an interception. They missed passes. There were some drop passes on a big 4th down over the middle to Sigia. Unfortunately, rare drop by hand. There were some missed throws by Rob White. Guys were open, and he was just overthrowing or in some cases underthrowing them. It went from like. I feel bad to say this, but it went from bad to ugly for Special Agents just because there's like a hitch in this offense. There's something that's missing, and it's just when you need a big play, more often than not, they're not going to get it, or they make a big play, 1 step forward and then 2 steps back. Like some of the missed throws in this game were just egregious, to be honest with you. And I can see the frustration on the face by some of the receivers. And again, there was also some drops, right? So not all the blame goes on the shoulders of Rob White because it is a team game, and there were some drops. There were some missed tackles as well. And to Rob's credit, right, as a rusher, he did a good job containing Kyle Martell. So Kyle Martell actually he had 59 yards rushing on 6 carries, so almost 10 yards a carry, but he could have done a lot more damage. So Rob White as a rusher did a good job, and he actually got an INT when he decided he rotates where he plays in a defense. He'll be at rusher, he'll be at corner. He's a really smart guy. Picked off a pass. They had a chance to make it close, but again, it's just I don't know if you've seen this team play, Quaysie, but it's like there's too many people on the team, eh? B, it seems like almost no one has a set position. And it's just there's no chemistry. Like individually, you look at this team, right? So Isaac Yazbek McDonald, right? He plays up in the higher divisions as well. He's a good guy. You can put him anywhere, he'll make a play. Melissa Millette, like again, part of the FPF family, like she's a really good player. I've seen her lock down people at corner, and she's a decent receiver as well. Anthony Sigia, right? He knows how to win. He's won a ton of championships, as has Rob White. But it's just like too many people playing too many different spots. There's a kid they have, Kevin Quaysie. He's good. He needs to be on the field more, but they're taking him off every like second series. Simo Prejean, same thing. Like you need continuity to build chemistry, and this team just doesn't have it because there's too many people and there's just moving parts like every second or third series.
Well, we were kind of saying the same thing to them last season, the winter, when he had his Red Agents. I think they're called Red Agents, where he was at quarterback. I believe he played Division 6B, but I literally said the same thing, and I was kind of saying, I'm like, they have so much talent, they have so many athletic guys, it's just they don't have any chemistry, and it feels like they're just a bit lost in certain situations, and where that's what kind of hurts you when you're not on the same page, where it's like, okay, well, you're supposed to do a drag, and you decide to do, instead of doing a drag 2 yards, you end up going 5 yards, and you run into the defender. And then if you're the quarterback, you're kind of looking for that drag, it's not there, and then you take a sack, or you throw a bad ball, and then now instead of being at 4th and maybe 3 or 2, you're 4th and 8 and 9, and then you're kind of have to make a play, and then these guys are just kind of doing things where you're not used to them doing, or you want them to do something else, and they're not doing it, and then it just becomes it becomes a shit show at the end of the day, So that's what kind of happens when you bring. That's what people are all kind of saying. We were already talking about, like, what happens if you bring like a bunch of athletes together that never played versus each other, and you expect them like to dominate, but most of the case they don't dominate. They kind of struggle because not everyone's on the same page, and it takes time to adjust and build that chemistry. So exactly, I feel like the same kind of situation where it was for them for last season. I think it's kind of going the same path where you have to, first of all, I don't think guys should be switching around. I think they should have guys at a main spot, and I think your better players play longer. Like, it is what it is. I know it's a paying league and everyone's playing, but if you want to win games and you want to kind of get it, there's a lot of teams where two-way player guys play 2 ways. You have your best player that plays 2 ways, and there's no hard feelings for everybody else. Be like, listen, he's our best player, he has to play both ways. It's 6v6. There's still a lot of spots in the roster. Don't get me wrong. You have 6 guys defense, 6 guys offense. It doesn't mean one guy plays both ways. It's like one guy can't play. No, it's not that at all. But I still think you should have guys focus on one position and not kind of switching around, so you kind of have a rhythm. You kind of get that chemistry with the guy next to you. If you're playing corner, at least you know the halfback. If what he does and what he's comfortable doing. Instead of saying, okay, well, I'm not playing half there, I'm going to play on this side, and we're going to rotate here, we're going to rotate there, and okay, you're going to take off the third steer. Like, no, it doesn't work like that, because you're not used to certain things, and then it takes you a while to kind of get things rolling, and you might think 48 minutes, because I think that's how long a game is, 24. You might think 50 minutes is a long time in a game, but you blink your eyes and the game's it's done, So.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it. I guess that's it for Division E. So I'm actually going to go to Co-Ed 2. I make kind of the jump. I kind of was watching a bit. It's kind of want to talk about. So since Brent's gone, it's actually perfect timing. So I want to talk about Co-Ed 2. How competitive Co-Ed 2 is right now. Co-Ed 2 is competitive compared to what we kind of get to see. And there's so many good teams in Co-Ed 2 right now. You have plenty of fish that finally, I'm so happy for them that they kind of they went down, but they're playing Co-Ed 2, and I just feel like Maule is feeling so much comfortable, and she's having a great season. She's thrown 30 touchdowns, only 3 INTs. She's played 5 games. So she missed 2 games. The games that she did miss, Theo Ejio came in and did great, but she's playing amazing right now. It's one of the main reasons why they're 7-0, and I feel like they kind of needed this, because when they played Co-Ed 1, they used to struggle, and they were a good team. It's just maybe sometimes they're missing some key factors, and they're missing some players that weren't there. But I feel like now everyone's kind of there, and even if they're missing players, they're still able to compete versus teams in Co-Ed 2 compared to Co-Ed 1 when they're missing certain guys and they're playing versus they're playing versus literally elite all-star Co-Ed 1 teams. They're unmatched. So the fact that plenty of fish right now, when they are missing players for Co-Ed 2, they're still able to adapt and still be able to compete versus the rest of these teams Co-Ed 2, because again, Co-Ed 1 is stronger than Co-Ed 2. So I think for them to making this kind of that downgrade drop is perfect, and it kind of shows it's the reason why they're 7-0. And then you have teams like the Rookie the rookies they're doing a great job. Block Party is also one of the elite teams. They're 6-1. Not like there's no surprise there. You have Double Dip. Again, that's a co-ed team that they've been playing for a bit. They also have a men's team too. So I'm not sure exactly what division, but they have a men's team. But it's nice to see Double Dip is back. I know they missed the winter. And they came back for this season. And then you have Speed Academy, you have East W, you have so many good teams. Kamikaze is a team that's also struggling. I believe last year they went pretty far. So the fact that they're 2-6 is a bit concerning. But I mean, like at the end of the day, Code 2 is stacked. And it's kind of nice to see one thing. I'll say again, it's nice to see that Plenty of Fish are 7-0, and the fact that they're kind of getting the like not praise, but they're kind of showing them like they're actually a good team. It's just they were when they got into certain situations in Quad 1 where they're kind of missing some players, like it didn't benefit them. If they were a full roster going to Quad 1, they would have a more successful seasons. But the fact that now they're in Quad 2 and when they are missing players, they're still able to compete. And it's good to see that a team like this that's been playing for a while is dominating Co-ed 2, which to be honest, which they should. If they were not anywhere above 500 right now, I'd be like, hey, what's going on? Like, you guys can't drop to Co-ed 3 now, you know. But the fact that they're 7-0 and they're beating good teams and stuff like that, it's great to see.
I hear you. No, it's great to see. It's great to see indeed. I mean, especially with the record, right? I mean, and it's again, this is when you want to be playing your best ball as they march towards the playoffs, and this is exactly what this team is doing. So I know we have a guest coming on in about 5 minutes here. So let's switch gears now from talking about oh wow, it's not even the right picture. Sorry, for talking about some games and that, and so yesterday on Instagram we launched something that we came up here with our media team. Who's the fastest female currently in FPF? So does it mean who's the fastest female of all time? Who's the fastest female in the winter season or the last spring season or whatever the case may be, or this past fall? No, it's current 2026 spring/summer season. So I did a poll. I asked 10 different females around the league, and there's some males as well who play co-ed, even some who have played co-ed in the past. And I asked them who do they think is the fastest female. So Ali Reza and I made a list. Ali Reza put it on Instagram because God knows if you want me to do that. Maybe next week it'll come out or the week after. I'll leave that, so shout out to him. So we made 8 different polls. There's 24 players in all, right? Three players for every poll. So 8 times 3, obviously quick math is 24. So I'm going to start off by saying there are some definite names that we left off. We can't have everybody. Again, this is off of people that I asked. So I asked some people who coach that are in FPF. I asked some people obviously who play that are in FPF. And I asked males and females. I made sure to ask 10 females for sure. And then I also asked some guys as well. So I really wanted to get different and varied opinions and different players, right? And again, one of the goals in doing this is we just want to have all women's A players or co-ed 1 players. That's no fun for anybody. And as we know, there's lots of talent throughout this entire league, right? So you can go on. I know on the Instagram story, the results are in. I'm just gonna go back. I had it on the page here for a second. So we can go through the categories quickly. First one was three names were so Gigi, Rachel Shea, and Lara Yuzoka. So Lara won that. So she's on the round 2. The next bracket was Charlie Philibert, Anka Kuhu, who we just talked about before with Hibu, and Susanna Loaiza, who I talked about with the Flamingos. So winning that was Anka Kuhu. My apologies. She's on to the second round. Next one, we had Maggie Gervais, Charlotte Susi, and Elodie Simino. So the winner of that one was Elodie Simino. So Elodie Simino is on to the next round. Next one, we had Dakota Scott, Sarah Mo Mathieu, and Eleanor Lacasse. Dakota Scott won that one, so she's on to the next round. And I will say Dakota Scott was playing with her team on Tuesday, and I had brought up the topic. I asked her who she thinks are the fastest players without letting her know she'd be on the list. And one of her teammates, I forget the girl's name, was standing right next to her. She goes, it's her automatically. Like, there's no one else. She's like, there's no one else. Don't think about putting anybody second or third or first. She's like, 1, 2, and 3 should be Dakota Scott. And I was like, all right. I mean, she's on the list. So anyway, so Dakota's on to the next round. Next one was Charlene Vixamar, Abigail Perot, Mary Joelle Vandel. The winner of that one was Abigail Perot. So Abigail Perot is on to the next round. Next matchup was we have Anouk Benalil, Anastasia Ali, and Heidi O'Connor Lynch. So the winner of that one, I see there's a bit of a mistake here. Ali Rezi made a mistake. So Heidi's picture is there, but her name is not there. It's Mary Joelle Vandel again, but it's all good. The winner of that one was Anik Benalil. So she's heading on to the next round. So we're going to have round 2. So the winners of this first round are going to go on to round 2. So we're going to redo it on an Instagram story and have the round 2 winners. And you're going to have to pick to see who won those matchups. Round 2 we'll have our final championship, our fastest woman in FPF crown being released. Should be in about 2 weeks. So make sure to tune in for that one. We're going to be creating one this week for the males, but the males in the lower division of FPF. So that's going to be Division D2 and lower. We'll have a poll on that one. I created one on Facebook the other day, and for some reason it kept on deleting itself. I know some guys had already answered. We're giving you some names, so guys like Theo Midori and what was in there. There's going to be some other names again. We'll do the whole story. We'll do the same thing here for the males in the lower divisions of FPF this coming week on Instagram. So make sure to look out for that, and make sure again, like I said, to look out for the ladies round 2 is coming up. So we love the engagement. This is what we want. We want you guys engaged and interested, and we're just trying to make, add new things here to the pod and make it more interesting for you guys. So get out there and vote, and let's see who's going to be crowned the fastest woman and the fastest male in FlagPlus Football. Speaking of events and stuff coming up, I know we have the All-Star game coming up August 27th. That's going to be at the field in Laval. That's going to be from 7 p.m. to 11. Again, August 27th, the All-Star game for the spring season. The current season here will be August 27th in Laval from 7 to 11 p.m. We're going to have the voting and all that, and the All-Star participants being announced a little later in the season. So look out for that. And if you feel like you should be an All-Star, make sure your game backs it up. You still have a chance to get that nomination. Let's go quickly here. Players of the week, player spotlight week 7. Okay. Player spotlight week 7. Here we go. Okay, so week 7, we had a lot of players making some plays, so hence why. And this is a popular segment now. I think people really like it. It's getting a lot of good responses, a lot of likes, so it's awesome. Hope you guys like it. Here we go. Week 7. We have Felix Seabag from 5v5 Intermediate with the Mighty Schmucks. 4 TDs, 132 yards receiving. On defense, he had a sack, an INT, and a pass deflection. So shout out to Felix Seabag. Again, Intermediate 5v5 Mighty Schmucks. We had Marina Scalzo Chrétien. She had 1 touchdown as a receiver. On defense, she had 2 touchdowns to go along with 3 INTs and 5 tackles. So clearly she was balling. We have a Shani. So shout out to Shani. Shani Mitch. She had 3 sacks for her team block party and co-ed too. So shout out to her. Now she's a friend of the show. Got 3 big sacks there. And the aforementioned Dakota Scott with her team Phantom Troop. So that's what I saw on Tuesday. Phantom Troop, co-ed 3. She had 3 sacks, 1 pass deflection. She had a touchdown on offense. Maybe the fastest player in FPF, or the fastest female, at least in FPF. We'll have to wait and see. Don't forget, go out and vote. Intermediate 5v5, going back again to the Mighty Schmucks. We had Justin Goodman, quarterback. He had 234 yards, 6 touchdown passes. So shout out to him. Great job there. We had Jefferson Pierre from Division B, Ice Pack. Ice Pack got a big win the other night over Norbert. So he had 4 TDs as a receiver. He had another touchdown on defense along with 1 INT. We had Nicholas Nez, Division C, Big Fat Back, 10 catches, 141 yards, and 4 touchdowns. So shout out to him on that one. Also from the Big Fat Backs in Division C, Matthew Zappoletti, 18 completions, 257 yards, 7 touchdowns. So I talked about last week, I think I played against the Big Fat Bats, and this is a team, right? Defensively, actually, they give up a lot of points. To be honest with you, that's actually why we beat them. But this is still a talented team. I'm surprised right now. Looking at the record quickly, they are 1-6 right now in Division C. They're not a 1-6 team, and I'll say the same thing. I'll give a quick shout out here to Nut and Run. I played against them this past Saturday at Con U, and we beat them 32-30, but that was a tough game. That's a good team. I don't know how they're 0-8. They're way better than an 0-8 team for Division C. So getting back to the player spotlight, also big fat bats. Luca Lucchesi, again, solid guy. He's been in the league for a long time. I was happy to see him. I even told him that when I played against him 2 weeks ago. He had 3 TDs on offense and 7 sacks on defense. So clearly, he's doing something right. Again, the team is struggling right now, but at least those 3 gentlemen are doing something right. Looking at it again, we have, rounding things out, we have Wiedens Alexandre, played for the Braves this past week, usually of FPF's most finest in Division B, 119 receiving yards, 3 touchdowns. On defense, 5 tackles, 1 INT that he ran back to the house. So Wiedens Alexandre. And finally, we have Quentin Leduc from Division E1 with the Underdogs. 15 completions, 133 yards, 5 touchdown passes. On defense, 2 INTs, one of them being a pick 6. So those are our players for week 7 in our player spotlight here in FlagPlus Football. Again, if you didn't hear your name, you got to bottle a little bit harder. Just ball a little bit harder, and you'll make sure you'll get on that list. We got you.
Brent, the game that Luca had 7 sacks, they lost that game, right?
Yeah, I think it was against my team, actually. I don't think he got 7 sacks against us, but I'm looking at it right here. His last game was against my team, and we beat them.
No, week 7, though. Was it you guys? It had to be. It might have been the game after you guys.
I don't know, because he got 7 against us. He got 2 against us, but they haven't played since then. But anyways, it is what it is.
Okay.
Those are the stats. I read what's on my screen. Anyways, let's move on from that. Again, we have a special guest lined up here. I know she's been waiting for a couple of minutes now, waiting patiently. She's ready to go. It is none other, pardon me, than Chloe Corbeil. Chloe, obviously from FPF, she plays in Women's A with the Sparks. Again, Sparks coming off a big win against Chaos, and she plays with the Merge in Co-Ed 1. Chloe, bienvenue. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you guys?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. All right. So let's hop into it. I said right now, again, you're on, tu jouais avec le Sparks, tu jouais avec the Merge. Comment vous étiez impliqué? Like, how did you start in FPF? Or who got you involved?
Quand j'ai commencé, c'était une de mes amies qui m'a invité à jouer pour Vanier, Cheetahs Vanier. They had like a team, c'était en 2022. Et il y avait besoin de ça, puis il était genre, veux-tu venir? Puis j'étais comme, les gars, pourquoi pas? Alors je suis venue, puis depuis ce temps-là, j'ai tout le temps eu au moins 2 équipes minimum dans FPF. De 2, là, puis l'été dernier, je jouais dans 4 équipes même. Là, donc j'ai tout le temps joué dans beaucoup d'équipes en même temps dans FPF.
OK. So maintenant, tu joues avec le Merge, tu joues avec les joueurs comme Marc-André Reeves, Sablan Corley, les autres bons joueurs comme ça. What is it like for you, like playing with, again, you're playing one of the best co-ed teams in FPF. Again, a team that's won a couple of championships. How are you able to kind of get in there and really make an impact?
J'aime vraiment jouer avec cette équipe-là. Je pense que ce que je peux amener dans une équipe, c'est vraiment de la physicalité, de l'agressivité. Donc, je pense que c'est ça que je peux amener dans une équipe comme par exemple de Merge. Mais c'est une équipe qui est déjà très complète là, de base. Je trouve que ils ont de la vitesse, ils ont des mains sûres, ils ont de la bonne défense. Donc, ils sont quand même assez complets. Donc, c'est vraiment de la cohérence d'équipe, jouer ensemble. Puis, je pense qu'ils sont bons pour impliquer les gens dans leur équipe quand t'arrives. Puis, même toi, tu remplaces quelque chose. Je pense qu'ils sont très bons pour, tu sais, Marc-André Reeves va te lancer des passes pareilles, puis les filles vont t'encourager, Coco va t'encourager. Tu sais, je pense qu'il y a plein de monde qui sont capables d'avoir une belle cohérence d'équipe parce qu'ils amènent cette chimie-là dans l'équipe. Je pense que c'est ça qui est important.
OK. Je veux toi la saison dernière avec Supernova et je veux que tu joues défense et tu joues offense aussi avec les teams comme The Merge. I'm going to read your stats. So maintenant, 271 réceptions pour 44 touchés. It's pretty impressive. 330 plaques, 17 interceptions, 3 sacs, 3 TD, ce défense. Est-ce que tu aimes le offense ou le défense?
Moi, c'est vraiment je préfère tellement la défense, mais on dirait que dans des équipes comme ça, j'ai pu vraiment me développer en tant que joueuse offensive. Mais je pense que j'ai pas encore assez de bons réflexes à l'attaque pour rester tout le temps à l'attaque, là, tu sais, des cotes précises. Moi, j'ai pas appris ça vraiment, donc j'ai pratiqué mes mains puis j'ai commencé à avoir des meilleures mains. Mais je pense encore que mon route running, là, quand t'es un defense contre moi, je pense que t'es quand même capable de savoir je vais où. Mais je pense que ça, à cause de mon agressivité, ça aide aussi pour faire quelques attrapés des fois qui peuvent être plus difficiles. Mais vraiment, moi, je suis une fille de défense, là, c'est sûr.
OK. Quand tu jouais avec un bandeau, avec un headband, c'est noir, je pense. Okay.
Ouais.
Moi, je pense que c'est vraiment cool sur ton tête. Like, it looks really cool on you. Is that just for style or are you using it pour la protection? C'est quoi la raison?
C'est vraiment pour mes commotions cérébrales parce que là, si j'en portais pas un, ma médecin était comme faut que t'arrêtes le flag, puis j'étais comme non. Alors j'étais comme je jouais avec un petit bandeau, mais vraiment j'ai eu ma dernière commotion le AFPF il y a 2 ans, j'ai eu ma dernière commotion, je jouais dans une équipe co-ed, puis des fois moi je suis quand même petite, donc des fois les gars, ils me voient pas souvent. Fait qu'à un moment donné, je me suis juste fait ramasser de plein fouet par un gars qui m'avait jamais vu. Et là, j'ai eu une commotion. Ben écoute, c'est des choses qui arrivent parce que quand tu joues mix, des fois ça vient avec des joueurs qui te voient pas ou des joueurs qui jouent vraiment physique. Des choses qui peuvent arriver, mais c'était ça ma dernière commotion. Donc à partir de ce moment-là, j'étais obligée de jouer avec mon petit casque, mais ça fait comme 2 ans là, que je joue avec ça.
Okay. I think I was there. I think I was at that game. I might have been scorekeeping or I had a game, but I remember that happening to you.
Ça se peut. Hey, j'ai 2 fois que je me suis blessée. Une fois, c'était une commotion, puis l'autre fois, c'était ma mâchoire qui avait déboîté dans des games mixtes. Donc.
So sorry, Brent. Just to kind of cut you off, would you prefer? I guess do you prefer playing women's or do you prefer playing mix?
That's a hard question. Oh my god. Hey, alors, je pense que si on m'avait demandé cette question-là l'an dernier, j'aurais dit mixte, mais depuis cette année, j'ai vraiment commencé à aimer beaucoup jouer 5 contre 5 féminin. On dirait que j'avais comme un peu arrêté parce que avec l'école, je jouais pas universitaire, donc je jouais vraiment plus mixte. Mais on dirait que là, j'ai recommencé à avoir un amour pour jouer en 5v5 féminin. Mais j'aime aussi le mix, mais je trouve que je pense que la réponse est un peu complémentaire. Je trouve que je suis plus stratégique quand je joue 5v5 parce qu'il y a un peu plus de manière. Le terrain est plus restreint, il faut que tu joues plus rapidement. Il y a plus de lecture à faire, je trouve, en 5v5. Tandis en mixte, je trouve que c'est plus pour pratiquer mon agressivité puis ma manière de réagir parce que je suis souvent contre, admettons, des gars puis qui vont courir des fois plus vite ou qui vont être plus agressifs. Fait qu'il faut encore plus que je le sois. Donc, je trouve que les deux m'apprennent des choses, mais ouais, je pense que en ce moment, ma réponse, ça serait féminin. Mais j'aime les deux.
Okay. I thought you were gonna say complete women since you've gotten hurt so many times in mix, but I guess
Non. Ça me dérange tellement pas de me faire. Genre, je suis une des personnes que je pense que ça me dérange pas de me faire rentrer dedans parce que quand tu joues agressif, c'est sûr que les autres vont jouer agressif. Fait qu'on dirait que je suis comme, ben, c'est des choses qui arrivent, tu sais. Fait que ça me dérange tellement pas. Je trouve que ça me pratique à être encore plus tolérer la douleur.
There you go.
Okay. So you mentioned before, right? You mentioned it twice actually. You mentioned about vous avez mentionné te faire comment c'est ça en français? Wow, I'm trying to pronounce it. Sorry. Like, about being aggressive, like the aggressive. I can never pronounce that right in French. I'm sorry. You mentioned being aggressive, right? It's one of the things you have to be when you're playing with the merge. When you look at your style of play, period, with all the different teams that you played on since you started in FPF, like is that really a main part of your style of play, or you know what? How would you describe your style of play to someone that hasn't seen you play before?
Je pense que mon style de jeu, c'est vraiment agressif. J'ai pas peur de me pitcher vers des balles. Ça me dérange pas d'être en plein milieu d'un jeu puis de me faire rentrer dedans. Comme je pense que je joue très physique, je joue beaucoup avec mon corps. Je pense que c'est ça ma force numéro 1. Là. Je pense que des fois, je peux réussir des jeux juste à cause que je suis plus physique que l'autre personne, je pense.
OK. So tu commences en 2022 en FPF. So I'm just looking at your profile. So tu jouais avec, maintenant, je sais que le Merge, Sparks, right? Tu jouais aussi avec les autres équipes comme Fit Squad, Supernova, Valhalla, Fireball, Supernova encore, Plenty of Fish. Tu jouais avec beaucoup des équipes. C'est quoi ton joueur, pas de joueur, mais ton teammate? Like, do you have like a favorite teammate or someone that like when they come to ask you to play, you're always like 100% yes?
Je pense que vraiment, une des joueuses avec qui j'aime le plus jouer, c'est Audrey Lajoie. On a joué ensemble au cégep, puis après, on a joué dans pas mal toutes mes équipes que tu as nommées. J'ai joué avec elle. Tu sais, mettons, Supernova, quand j'ai créé l'équipe, ben, elle jouait avec moi. Après, on a joué ensemble dans des équipes co-ed 2 années de suite. On a beaucoup joué ensemble. J'aime vraiment ça, jouer avec elle. Je dirais que c'est elle, la personne avec qui je joue le plus souvent, que j'aime le plus jouer avec. Je trouve qu'on a des styles qui vont bien ensemble. On sait comment l'autre joue, donc des fois, c'est aidant.
Okay. Quaysie, do you have anything else?
No, you can continue. So you went from t'as dit quoi? Audrey, qui, excusez?
Audrey Lajoie.
Lajoie, okay. And if that's your women's favorite player, if you had to choose your male favorite player to play with, who would it be?
C'est une bonne question. J'ai tellement joué dans des équipes différentes masculines qu'on dirait que je suis comme avec qui, mais je pense que j'en aurais 2. J'ai bien aimé. Quand j'ai commencé à jouer mix, j'avais joué dans mon équipe Fireball avec Kevin, il s'appelle Kevin Malonga. Puis j'avais vraiment aimé ça jouer avec lui. Puis récemment, il a rejoué aussi avec nous dans Fit Squad. Je trouve que, tu sais, il est excellent. C'est un joueur talentueux, agressif, mais aussi super comme il amène une belle attitude. Il est tout le temps genre joyeux. Il va jamais comme crier sur le terrain. Puis moi, je suis une personne qui aime vraiment pas ça quand on s'ostine sur les terrains puis tout. Donc on dirait que je suis comme j'aime ça. Il apporte du calme, puis il fait ses jeux comme il a à les faire. Il encourage. J'ai bien aimé ça jouer avec lui. Sinon, l'année dernière, quand je jouais avec Fit Squad, j'avais bien aimé jouer avec Darius Larimore. Je sais pas comment se prononce son famille, mais je m'excuse, Darius. Mais j'avais vraiment aimé ça jouer avec lui. On était les deux en def. Puis on jouait bien ensemble, je trouvais. Il était excellent, là, vraiment un roi des interceptions, cet homme. Excellent aussi à l'attaque. Là. Je pense que c'est un joueur qui est très sous-estimé à FPF parce qu'il est très talentueux. Mais voilà, j'ai bien aimé. Je pense que ça serait ces deux-là, mes deux préférés avec qui j'ai joué, à qui ça fitait bien.
Okay, yeah. I like Kevin and Darius. Kevin played at University of Montreal, and then he played at Sherbrooke. He was a great DB. Yeah. And Darius was good I liked his transition because he used to play soccer, and then I think now he's playing flag. So it's nice to see guys like that they're kind of translating to flag. So.
Mais non, c'est le fun de voir, quand c'est des athlètes, là, ça paraît, je trouve, aussi dans leur manière de jouer, là, dans leur intensité aussi. Tu sais, quand tu convertes d'un sport à l'autre, il y a des trucs que tu amènes qu'on n'a pas déjà dans l'équipe, donc toujours le fun.
Mm-hmm. Brent?
Yes, I just want to ask you, so obviously outside of football, so right now you work for TVI. I know we were talking the other night, you and I, and you were saying you had to go cover Ultimate Frisbee on TVI. So obviously that's something different in football. How long have you been on TVI? And obviously you have a journalism background, obviously, right? So if you could talk a bit about that.
Oui, ben je viens de commencer, ça fait comme 2 mois avec TVA. J'aime vraiment ça, donc c'est très très récent. Là, j'ai terminé mon bac et oui, je fais du journalisme aussi. Puis sur le côté, avec des médias sportifs indépendants, je fais aussi du flag football sur mon compte personnel aussi. Donc je parle beaucoup de flag, mais aussi d'autres sujets. C'est comme ça un peu, je trouve que je peux m'améliorer dans mon sujet principal. Je travaille dans un peu tout, puis c'est très le fun. Mais ouais, j'étais à l'université en télé télévision. Donc, c'est un peu différent, mais ça se ressemble. Ça m'a un peu appris à mieux parler dans les médias, je pense. Mon baccalauréat à l'UQAM, exactement.
OK. Dans l'intérêt encore, à votre avis, pourquoi le flag football est devenu si populaire, la province de Québec, en ton opinion?
Ben, vraiment, je pense que on est la première province qui a vraiment joué sur le fait que ce sport-là était un sport qui était plus accessible à tous. Il y a d'autres provinces qui n'ont pas le même format qu'on a. Je pense aussi que notre format d'éducation qu'on a en ce moment, ça favorise le fait de poursuivre le sport parce que on a premièrement le primaire, le secondaire, le cégep puis l'université. Souvent, les autres provinces vont directement passer du secondaire à l'université. Ce qui fait qu'on a comme un 3 ans de formation de plus, qui fait que nos joueurs peuvent se développer. Nos joueurs peuvent en fait, plus nos joueuses, parce que les gars, ils ont un peu moins d'opportunités pour jouer après le cégep, là. Mais admettons, pour les joueuses, ils ont quand même un long parcours pour se développer. Et on est la première province qui a vraiment mis sur pied une équipe RSEQ, donc un réseau là, pour se développer. Fait que je pense que puisqu'on a agi rapidement, qu'on a pris au sérieux vraiment ce sport-là, ben on a pu avoir plus d'opportunités, je pense, vraiment à cause de ça. Donc, je pense que c'était une question de comment tu développes ton réseau pour un sport. C'est pas tout le monde qui a peut-être pris ce sport-là au sérieux au début, puisque c'était vraiment un dérivé du football contact. Donc, il y en a certains qui se sont dit, c'est juste le même sport, mais sans contact, genre, mais c'est vraiment pas la même affaire. Fait que je pense que nous, puisqu'on a directement agi là-dessus, ben, on a pu se développer plus.
All right. Like you said, right? Obviously, like you said, leading to a lot of opportunities in that and just more of an interest in the sport. Obviously, the Olympics are coming up 2028, flag football. How excited are you to be a part of that? And maybe even to be covering maybe some part of the Olympics?
Et ça serait mon rêve de pouvoir aller couvrir les flags aux Olympiques. Pour de vrai, je pense que ce serait mon but ultime. Là. Je trouve ça vraiment très plaisant. Là, comme c'est tellement une belle opportunité pour le flag d'être sur cette scène mondiale-là. C'est la plus grande scène sportive au monde. Donc, de pouvoir montrer un peu, premièrement, de quel bois on se chauffe ici au Canada en flag football, ça va être incroyable. Mais aussi de voir que mon sport se rend là, je trouve ça incroyable. T'sais, mon but, je pense que ça a tout le temps été de couvrir ce sport-là, d'en parler. C'est un peu ça que j'aime faire. Donc, pour moi, de voir que ma niche, un peu mon sport que je me spécialise en, peut se rendre, je trouve ça le fun parce que, ça peut me donner encore plus d'opportunités d'en parler. On va avoir des tournois, on va avoir des ligues, il va y avoir comme plusieurs joueuses qui vont se développer, des nouvelles joueuses qui vont arriver. Donc, ça donne vraiment plein de jus médiatiques pour couvrir ce sport-là. Et en plus de le voir à l'international, ben, ça va le permettre de faire connaître encore plus, puis peut-être qu'il va rester même aux Olympiques là, si ça continue comme ça, tu sais.
Brent, just to kind of to add on there, you must be pretty excited that there's a qualification for the Olympics coming into Montreal in 2027. So I'm pretty sure you're pretty excited for that because I'm sure you're going to want to try to maybe cover some footage and stuff like that for when that comes.
Ben c'est sûr, quand j'ai vu qu'il y avait à Montréal, j'ai capoté parce que j'avais essayé d'avoir des billets, peu importe c'était où, j'étais comme je vais y aller. Puis j'avais pas réussi à avoir des billets dans le premier drop des billets. Là. Je m'étais inscrit et malheureusement, j'ai pas eu de billets. Mais là, quand j'ai vu qu'il y en avait à Montréal et qu'il allait faire un autre drop, j'étais comme là, je manque pas ma chance, je veux des billets. Tu sais, ça va être proche de la maison, ça va être juste ici. Peut-être que notre équipe va déjà être qualifiée, mais juste d'aller voir du flag, voir comment les autres pays jouent, c'est tout le temps plaisant parce que tu sais, il y a les qualifiers en Allemagne en août, là, les 2 premiers, les top 2 femmes, les top 2 hommes vont avoir leur billet direct pour les Olympiques. Ça se peut que le Canada aille ses billets directement. Il y a des bonnes chances même. Donc, ça se peut qu'ils vont pas être dans ces qualifiers-là, mais juste d'aller voir du flag puis d'en recevoir ici puis de montrer qu'on a un espace où on peut recevoir du flag, ça va être déjà le fun parce qu'on se rappelle qu'il y a une ligue professionnelle qui arrive en 2027. Donc, de montrer que nous aussi, on a un stade qui est capable de recevoir des matchs de cette ampleur-là, mais ça nous met déjà de l'avant puis ça montre, nous aussi, on peut recevoir des gros événements sportifs. Donc, je pense que ça va être une belle occasion de montrer qu'on peut développer notre marché montréalais pour ce sport-là.
Okay. So I've got 2 more questions for you. So you good, Quaysie?
Yeah, perfect.
Good. Okay. 2 more questions for you. So you were saying before, right? You've been with TVA for depuis le dernier 2 mois. So you've been there for 2 months. Like, what has been your favorite story to cover so far?
Oh, Hier, c'était ma plus belle histoire que j'ai couvert. J'avais une première médiatique d'un spectacle de cirque à Trois-Rivières. Donc, le Cirque du Soleil fait tout le temps un spectacle pour là. Donc, j'ai pu couvrir le tapis rouge, la première, parler aux gens. Donc, j'ai même pu parler à Jean Leloup. Donc, pour moi, ça, c'était vraiment incroyable parce que c'est mon artiste préféré. Donc, de pouvoir lui parler alors que ça faisait quelques années qu'il n'était pas sorti dans l'espace médiatique, c'était quand même incroyable. C'était vraiment, ça tombait parce que c'était hier vraiment ma meilleure expérience. J'ai vraiment eu du plaisir, c'était beau, puis c'était le fun, j'ai vraiment aimé ça.
Okay, nice. Okay, and finally, so quand t'es pas sur le terrain, c'est like when you're not on the field, quand t'es pas devant la caméra, so like when you're not in front of the camera, who is Chloe Corbeil? What does Chloe Corbeil like to do?
Oh my God. Si je suis pas au flag et devant une caméra, pour vrai, ça, c'est genre le 15% de ma... Il me reste un 15%, là. Genre, je suis tout le temps en train de faire du flag, ça, c'est sûr. Le gym, clairement, pour compléter mon flag, mais surtout, sinon, petite soirée relax, lire des livres, là. Vous pouvez voir derrière moi mon immense bibliothèque, là. Je lis vraiment beaucoup, beaucoup de livres. Mais pour de vrai, je pense que le 95% de mon temps se passe en train de me filmer pour des capsules, aller sur un terrain de foot. D'ailleurs, ce soir, là, j'ai fait l'aller-retour Trois-Rivières pour un match. Là, donc, je suis un peu folle du flag. Je fais un petit peu tout le temps de la route, tout le temps en train de me donner pour le flag. J'aime vraiment ça. Donc, mais sinon, oui, lire des livres, chiller, regarder, être au soleil. Mais sinon, vraiment, le travail.
I don't know. I have a lot of books too. I can show you my bookshelf. I have a lot of books too.
On va faire un book club.
Very few of them. But...
Le book club de FPF, ça part là.
We should start it. We should start a book club. Exactly. All right, Chloe, I just want to say thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. You taking some time. I know you're really busy. Always look forward to seeing you at the field. When's your next game?
Tonight. At 8.
Okay. So you said, okay, yeah, sorry, tonight. Sorry, my bad. You're right.
Avec The Merge.
Okay, well, bonne chance. So The Merge contre qui?
Je sais, j'ai même pas regardé.
Well, you should know that. Come on, Chloe. Come on. The Merge contre Lego My Flag.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. Quaysie, aren't you playing for Lego My Flag? No.
Yeah, we'll see if I make it there in time.
Hey, there you go.
Ça va peut-être se voir tantôt.
Yeah.
Who's gonna win the game today? Who's gonna win, guys?
I mean, it's obvious.
De la dernière fois, c'est nous qui a gagné, mais on sait pas, il y avait beaucoup de pluie.
I think I went quarterback the last time I was throwing interceptions.
Ouais, c'est ça. Il y avait pas de carrière la dernière fois, puis il pleuvait. Je pense que c'est tout le temps des games serrés, honnêtement. Là, je pense que les forces sont quand même bonnes des deux côtés. Ouais. Fait que je pense que je peux même pas dire qui va gagner parce que des deux côtés, à chaque fois, c'est full serré. Fait que à suivre. Mais ça va dépendre de qui est là, je pense, de chaque bord. Je pense que ça influence un peu de quand qui est là de chaque côté. Ça peut influencer la décision, le rendu final.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, best of luck to you tonight. Hopefully you whoop him, Chloe. Hopefully you whoop his ass. Hopefully.
Merci.
All right,
bye, à la
Chloe,
prochaine. Merci.
Bye.
Merci beaucoup. All right. So yeah, that was Chloe Corbeil again. Thanks for her to coming on. I hope you guys enjoyed. Fantastic guest. Like I said, she's on TVR. She's doing a lot of big things. Check her out. She did some commentary with us during finals weekend for the winter. So hopefully we'll see her again come August 22nd, August 23rd. Anything else, Quaysie? You're good?
No, it's I'm good. I was trying to think, but I had something in my mind. I completely forgot about it, and I had it in my notes, and for some reason I deleted it. It's weird. I guess if it comes to me, I'll say it next week.
Okay. Like we said, don't forget All-Star game coming up August 27th, 7 to 11 in Laval. And there is, I know Ali Reza, you gave me a fall registration. Yeah, that's it. Registration for the fall season is opening next week. So make sure to go to FlagPlusFootball.com to register yourself as an individual and, of course, to register yourself as a team. Everyone that doesn't have a team, get onto the FPF Facebook page. Say you're looking for a team or look for people that are posting we're looking for players. Make sure to check it out. Again, registration for flag season begins next week. I can't believe I'm saying that, but yeah, summer's half done, unfortunately.
Brent, this week.
This week. My bad. Sorry, this week. You're right. Yeah, by the time this comes out.
By the time they see it, it's going to be out. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, by the time they see it, it's going to be this week. Whatever. Yeah. Anyways, it's all good. Just for Laughs just started. I'm going to check out the cultural show on Saturday. I'm super excited. Have a great rest of the week. We'll see you guys later. Ali, thank you for everything as always. We out.
Peace.
Peace.